Hello everyone, Trophy Wine Hunter. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm trying a new format. Instead of me talking for 15 minutes, I'm going to try to put some pictures up to make it a little bit more interesting, maybe some short videos, and then at the end I'll come back to do the tasting live. Today I'm doing a tasting of 3 BC Rosé wines. And as my viewers and subscribers know, I'm pretty tough on BC wines. Not that I don't like BC wines, but I just don't like if they are overpriced. Likewise with rosés, I'm not a big rosé fan. Just I find them kind of very light and uninspiring. Throw back the misconception that I don't like BC wines, because I do if they're good, and also that I don't like rosés. I do, as long as they have a little bit more substance to them. And so that's just a personal preference. I know some people just like really light rosés, but to me, they're just not that inspiring. So let's talk firstly about rosés in general. So rosé is really just produced when you use a red wine grape varietal and you kind of don't put the skins on as long as you do for a red wine. That's basically the difference. I mean, so you'll get a lot of red wine type component flavors. Generally, these are red wine grapes. So just by saying something is a rosé doesn't tell you very much about it, because you can make rosés out of many different type of grape varietals, as you'll see with this video. Likewise, rosés are generally not ageable, so they are really for pop and open, but that doesn't mean they have to be boring or uninspiring or dilute. And so that to me is kind of what I like to drink. I like to drink a little bit heavier rosés that have a little more substance that can pair with foods. And I've got 3 great ones here today that I'm really excited about tasting. One from Laughing Stock Winery, one from Nk'Mip Cellars, and one from Burrowing Owl Estate Winery. First up is the Laughing Stock Vineyards 2023 Rosé. It's available at the winery for purchase at $25 a bottle, which is very reasonable. So Laughing Stock Vineyards was established in 2003 by David and Cynthia Enns. It was purchased by the Arterra Group, which was formerly Constellation Brands, in 2017. So they kind of got a very interesting kind of spin on things, because David was a kind of a stock broker, stock promoter. So it has to do with stocks, and so it's really interesting. Their label is a very nice design. I'll kind of explain it. This is their 5th vintage of rosé wine, and it's called In the Pink, which is kind of a play on this financial expression that investors are in a good position in their pink, I guess, or in the red. There's only about 350 cases of this produced each year, and it is a blend of 85% Gamay and 15% Pinot Noir. The grapes are whole cluster pressed, fermented mostly in stainless steel, about 85% stainless steel, and then 15% in neutral French oak puncheons. So kind of unique, because Gamay is not really grown in BC a lot, but interesting choice of grape type. Laughing Stock's bottle is very unique. It has all this ticker tape symbols of different stocks on the date that the wine was picked, which is September 29, 2023. So really unique design and really nice. Next is the 2023 Winemakers Rosé from Nk'Mip Cellars, available from the winery at $25.99. Again, not that expensive. I really like the idea that these are kind of affordable wines and they're not really gouging us at all. So this, of course, I've done a series of videos on Nk'Mip Cellars. I've met the winemaker, Justin Hall. This is the first Indigenous winery in North America. Justin is part of the Osoyos Indian band. Really like what they're doing. The labels are creative. The wine is quite good. And so I just really believe in the product they're doing. And they don't really overprice their wine. So I really like that too. So this is a blend of 90% Cabernet Franc, 10% Pinot Noir. It's fermented in stainless steel tanks. And again, it'd be interesting to see the compare and contrast with the Laughing Stock, which is made from Gamay. The last wine is the Burrowing Owl Estate Winery 2023 Rosé. It's available at the winery for $30 a bottle. Burrowing Owl Estate Winery was established by the Wise family in 1993. They still own it. And the estate was named after the endangered burrowing owl. The original winemaker was Bill Dyer, and he left the winery in 2005. So this is really a pioneer winery. The Burrowing Owl really was the start of the BC wine industry in terms of quality. Through the most part of the 1990s, it's arguable that they were the top winery in BC. When Bill Dyer left, I thought they had a little bit of a lower period. And, wineries go through ups and downs. But I think now they're back up on their kind of higher cycle. And so it's really good to see. And the wonderful thing, again, I love wineries in BC that do not overprice their wines. And Burrowing Owl, by and large, has kept prices pretty decent. So this wine is 100% Cabernet Franc from both their Arterra and Oliver Vineyards. Again, like the Nk'Mip Cellars wine, it's fermented in stainless steel for 3 months. Going to be interesting to compare and contrast all these wines, so it'll be a fun tasting. Let's taste the wines. And I'll let you know that I had these open last night. I put them in the fridge. I've had them with many other people, so I've got a lot of people's opinions on these wines, so that's good. I think this is a really great niche market for BC wines. I can see, because I think we do produce pretty relatively good rosés, and this is one of the few price categories where BC wines are cheaper than exports. And that's one of the knocks I always have is, why should I buy BC wines and I'm local and pay more than compared to, let's say, an Australian wine, which should be exported. It should be, we should get a break. Rosés, for some reason, are very affordably priced, BC rosés. And I see many other rosés from France that are well above $25. So this might be a good market. And I really actually believe in the Cabernet Franc grape, which is very interesting grape type to use. I think it's got a lot of character. So on the bottles, all of them look really nice, but I think the real winner is got to be, just on design, the Laughing Stock bottle, which is really, really neat. The only problem with the Laughing Stock bottle is that they have this, which is a good thing, they have this cap on it, which is you see this in some other wines. Cusimano's wine is like this too. And it's got a glass stopper, which is really nice. Having said that, for some reason, this is very, very tight. So maybe they have to take a look at the design of this stopper. I guess it keeps out everything, but it's so hard to take off. I almost need a corkscrew to take this off again. Whereas the Cusimano one does not have that issue. So that's the only thing. So that's why I took that off before I even started this tasting. So let's go to the Laughing Stock wine. Again, 85% Gamay, 15% Pinot Noir. So on the smell, nice floral elements. You get the red fruits, strawberries, cherries. Very pleasant. And a little bit of black fruit almost, like black plums. But very pleasant, very aromatic. I like it. So this is what I was talking about being substantial. A lot of rosés, or in my mind, that I've drank in the past, they're like water and they have no taste to them at all. And really, I'm thinking to myself, well, if I'm going to spend that much money and it tastes like water, why don't I just order distilled water or a Perrier, which is much cheaper. This one's got a little substance. I like that. A lot of dark fruit. Plums. I like this very much. A lot of flavor. I actually quite like this wine. And I like the substantialness of it. So I think you could sip this without food, but I would mind it with some food. And that's what I like. I like my rosés to be wines that have a little bit more substance, so that if I'm eating something like grilled octopus or a little salad, or some cheese, that it will still stand up. And a lot of the rosés that I see don't stand up to that at all. So my rating on the Laughing Stock Rosé is 87 points. Let's now go to the Nk'Mip Rosé. And I had the pleasure of drinking this wine with Justin Hall, I guess about a month ago, and going through it. The color of this wine is lighter. It's almost like a salmon pink, but that is, I mean, from his perspective, it's like, well, the color kind of lighter and the heavier taste, he kind of likes that play on things. And so it didn't bother him that it's a little bit lighter. So it's funny because this, again, is made with a Cabernet Franc grape mostly and a little bit of Pinot Noir. You get a little more citrusy notes to this, almost like grapefruit or watermelon. It's a little fresher in terms of the glass, the aroma. Not as much dark plum and strawberry, but more like, yeah, like watermelon. Fresher fruit, almost like fresh peaches, that type of fruit profile. You get more strawberries on the nose on this, and also I get a floral component to this also. But so the smell is very fresh, very summery, I would say. So when on the entry in the mouth, this wine tastes a little bit fresher, a little bit more refreshing, cleaner. And then on the end, it's got a little bit of substance on it, a little bit of the funkiness that you see with Cabernet Franc, a little bit of greenness. I almost want to say there's fruit, obviously. There's strawberries and cherries. But I almost want to say there's almost a leafy component to this at the end. And there's a smell also. There's also a green peppery smell to this also. So when I smell it again, I think this is really in line with Nk'Mip's wine and Justin's wines. They're always, as I said in my video with him, something plus. And so they're always not by the book. They're always kind of a little bit funky in a good way. And so I quite like this wine again. I'm going to give it 88 points. Last wine we're going to taste is the Burrowing Owl 2023 Rosé, which is 100% Cabernet Franc. And while I'm talking about Burrowing Owl, this is a cookbook that I'm really high on. This is really neat. They produced this cookbook, and I actually bought some, and I might actually do a contest maybe. Maybe we'll run a little contest for this. But I thought this was really unique what they did. They actually did a cookbook where they go through some of the history of the winery, but they have all their wines, and let me just get to the rosé page. But each of their wines, they actually have a page where you can, so this is the rosé, and they have 3 recipes, one for the starter, one for the main, and one for a dessert, that pair with the rosé. I've never seen that done in a cookbook before. And actually looking through the recipes, they're not that difficult. So that's why, like, for instance, this one is zucchini fritters with smoked paprika aioli. It's not that difficult a recipe. I think I could do it. So I just like the idea they've actually organized it that way, and then you can have a Burrowing Owl wine and then have a 3-course meal. I really like that idea. I think this is available at the winery. So that's I think a great gift idea. And so some of my friends or clients may receive this, and maybe we'll put this out there for either my Richmond News viewers or my viewers and subscribers. We'll see. So anyways, let's get back to this wine. So again, it should be similar to the Nk'Mip. And what I think with the Cabernet Franc grape, I think it's a little bit more subtle, maybe more sophisticated than the Gamay grape. The Gamay is a little bit rougher around the edges, but again, that's stylistically, it depends on what you like. So again, this has got that watermelon, citrusy grapefruit smell to it. The Laughing Stock made with Gamay to me has a lot more darker fruit, dark plums, dark cherries. This would have lighter fruits, almost some floral elements to it, and almost like I want to say like a talcum powder, or baby powder, or that component to it. A real softness to it, like a airiness to this, a floral component to this, even more so than I think than the Nk'Mip wine. I think this wine, of the three, has the most intensity of flavor. So with it's just comparing to the Nk'Mip comes in very fresh at the beginning, and then the flavors flow through. This one is very solid throughout, and my taste profile preference prefers very heavy wines with rosé. It's funny because with red wines I like light wines, with white wines and rosés I like heavy. So it's kind of weird, but it's nice to know that your own preference. But again, the preference is because I like to pair with food. And so I think you could probably have the Laughing Stock wine by itself. You could maybe get away with the Nk'Mip by itself, but it's probably better with food. This wine really, I think, would be better with food. I wouldn't call this a summer sipper in terms of it's more substantial. I mean, it's still a great summer wine, but I think it's fairly heavy. It's substantial. The body is a little bit heavier. The intensity of flavors are there, and it really begs for food, in my opinion. Yeah, I really, for my taste preference, I really like the heaviness of this wine. The texture is very smooth and balanced, but I like the evenness of flavor in this. So to me, this is an 89-point wine. And just to let you know, I did taste with a number of individuals, and most of them agreed with me that probably this is the most, of the three wines, this is the most substantial wine. This is the lightest wine. But they were all very close in terms of the score. And some people were saying, Trophy, you don't like these wines, you gave them 80-something points. Again, let's get around that point. You know, when we're talking about points, sometimes we're talking about, when I say a 95-point wine, 97-point wine, that is really classic wines that you're going to store over ages or whatever. Normally, the best drinking wines for pop and open are between 86 and 90 points. And so what I'm saying here with these wines is not that they're good wines, it's that they are really drinking for today. There's no real need to age these at all, just pop and open. And so really don't get so caught up in scores. Scores, again, as I've reminded my viewers, is for my own personal benefit, because my score is individual to me, not to anyone else in the world. It kind of lets me kind of categorize things in my mind. So, and if some people have similar taste preferences to me, then maybe they'll use my scores. But many people will disagree with what I say and don't have the same preferences that I do. And that's why it's so important to know who is reviewing a wine and know their preferences. So I know for a fact I like heavier rosés. So for instance, if you put a light rosé in this lineup, maybe I would have given it 84 points. For someone who likes summer sippers, they would have said, oh, this is like a 95-point wine. So it just depends on your taste preference. So please do not get caught up in scores. The point here is, I think we have three very, very good wines that I would have no problem buying by myself for a summer wine. And I think they're actually very well priced, and I think they provide good quality to price ratio. I hope I've been able to delineate the three wines so that you, based on what I have kind of said, you can tell which one is more to your taste preference. Again, with wines, it's not about the winner, the best, and the worst. It's about hopefully describing the wines and distinguishing them so that you can figure out which one suits your palate. And so hopefully that's explanation. But I actually really enjoy these rosés from BC, and in fact, I think I will start buying BC rosés if I had to choose a rosé. And again, one of my knocks on rosés always has been they're so light. I can't deal with them. And now that I've drank these three BC rosés and see the quality and see the complexity of the wine, I'm much more confident in buying BC rosés and actually drinking them over the summer months. Actually, they're kind of cool, and they do provide some great experience, especially on a hot summer day. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Until next time, happy drinking.